In this video, I'm running 5 popular mobile games through Google Translate, starting with 5 translations and ramping up to 100. The more I translate, the more chaotic it gets. This might be the most chaotic thing I've ever created. Let's start with Among Us in the first distortion level. Okay, wow. Between Us might be interesting. I think I might have an idea for this one. Let's use the airship corridor for the background. Do you know that moment where there's only 2 other people left and you don't know who's the imposter? Well, let's try and reenact that. I'm gonna need an observer. Let's put him over to the corner over here. Now I'm gonna need the 2 other people. So one on the left and another on the right. Let's flip him so they actually face each other. Oh crap. There's 2 oranges. Let's just quickly change that. I think neon green is a nice color. The last 2 people typically accuse each other of being the imposter, so let's give orange a pointing finger. And purple needs to defend himself. Actually, those shadows look rubbish, so I think I'm just gonna replace them. Quickly, some background blur won't harm anyone. Oh, and I nearly forgot. Let's put a body just here. Game 2 with 10 times distortion is Minecraft. I am working? That's interesting. Okay, I guess I'm going to need a job to show someone working. Let's leave this choice up to ChatGPT. Just any random job. Right. Surely that's not a real job. Let's try again and hopefully it's a little more interesting. Right, okay, now that's taking the piss. An odor judge and golf ball diver. Let's try one more time. I swear to God, if this doesn't work, I'm going to quit. Okay, that's somewhat acceptable. We're going to need a wind turbine, I guess. And to start, let's remove the background. And I want it to be in the middle. As this is Minecraft we're talking about, I'm gonna have to make it look like it's made out of blocks. So I'm just gonna use mosaic to make it look blocky. And I need a nice scenic background. Lovely. And with that done, I'm gonna need the technician. He needs to be smart and properly clothed. I'd say this is perfect. Let's put him on the top. He looks a little plain. Do you agree? Why don't we get him to wave? This will hopefully add some personality to the icon. I think that's as much as I can do. Now it's time for one of my favorites, Grand Theft Auto 5 at 20 times distortion. I'm excited about this one. Okay, I actually got a good idea. I would be devastated if I had my car stolen, just like how this guy looks, but at the same time I would be quite happy if I got a free car, just like this person. Can you see my vision? The image is slightly too small, so I'm going to cheat a little and generate the bottom side. Perfect, now I can focus on this guy. He needs to be slightly smaller and more in the distance. I like the composition of it, but before I finish, I do need to make it look realistic. And he's missing a shadow. Now for a cult classic, Subway Surfers at 40 times distortion. A stranger on the street. Okay, I think I can work with that. I found this photo of this busy street, and I'm going to replace this weird looking guy in the center with Jake. To do this, I'm going to need to remove him with generative fill. Okay, this might not be the most efficient way of doing this, but to make sure Jake is behind the people in front of him, I'm just going to select the people in front here and mask them onto a new layer, so this means I can sandwich him in. The first thing I'm noticing is Jake seems a little too happy being in this crowd of people, so let's straighten out his smile a little to make him a little less excited. Okay, that's more suitable, and the last thing to do is color correcting him, and that's it. Now let's do 80 times distortion with Angry Birds. Interesting. What does a bad boy actually look like? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of leather jackets, a lot of cigarettes. What else? And I guess their mode of transport are motorbikes. So I guess I'm going to start with this. Similar to the one before, I'm going to select his leather jacket and let's put it onto a new layer. Okay, now I'm going to need the red guy. Perfect. He's a little too chubby to fit in the jacket. So it's time for a quick warping session. Okay, let's squeeze this in a little. I need to make sure I don't warp and distort his eyes. Now I think to fill in his chest, I'm going to transplant his forehead from a copy of him. And let's put this over here. Let's stretch it to cover that chest. And a little bit of feather should help. Oh, and the original hair is showing. Let's just quickly cover that up. And let's bring back red. The final thing to do is making sure the rest of the body is also red. So let's select all the remaining skin up. And with that done, I'm going to use a hue and saturation layer to turn him red. The red is a little weak, so let's just turn up the saturation. Okay, now at 100 times distortion, the results end up getting a little random. I've had a go at doing geometry dash and it came back as computer cable. And to be honest, I can't think of anything to do with a computer cable. So I tried again and got production line. And I very much doubt you want to see a production line. But I did it anyway, but it's just a little boring. So I tried Brawl Stars, and that made my mind even more clueless. Like, what do I even do with this is a popular game? So let's try again with Stumble Guys. Right, I am definitely not going to do that one. Let's try this again. Right, well I guess this one is easy to do. All you need is an image of some stars. It doesn't incite much excitement, and it doesn't really represent the game. So let's scrap this, and try another game. Let's do 8-ball pool. Right, that's even more boring. 8 football fields is just a bit underwhelming. Well, that's what this one would look like anyways. Okay, let's try one more time, and if it's something ridiculous, I'm just gonna quit.